Hey, Andrew here. Top 5 useless things in photography. Number 1, landscape. Who needs that? I mean, when you store it in the bag, it's like, what protection? I don't know, I never need a landscape because I store my camera and my lenses in a padded camera bag and they never get scratched, and I don't drop my camera intentionally. You know, those who use your landscape, I'd like to hear why you use them. Number 2, useless, UV filter. This particular filter is a cheap glass that camera shops have been giving away whenever you buy yourself a lens or a camera, just to protect your camera and to absorb UV. You don't actually need that because your camera sensor is already doing a great job removing UV. And if you really look at this piece of glass, it's cheap glass and it's flat, and we really look at all good lenses, most lenses has a curve like this. So when you put a UV filter like this on top of your lens, it actually flattens your lens. So the photo will turn out looking milky and flat. Not good for photography. But of course, I know some of you really go out and buy really good quality branded UV filter. So those that do that, tell me what is the benefit that you get of using this UV filter. Number 3, diffusion domes that you get from your flash when you buy them. And if the diffusion dome is about the same size as your flash, useless. Because the idea is that you're not adding this thing to filter out light or softening the light. There's only one way you can soften light in photography. In classic lighting, the way to soften light is to make your light bigger, like a lampshade. That's why you have a lampshade. The lampshade makes the light bigger. That's the reason why diffusion dome works. So these kind of diffusion domes don't work, whereas this kind of diffusion domes would make the light softer. So remember, when the light is bigger, the light will become softer. Useless number 4, kit lens that you get when you buy your camera. Well, the reason I find that so useless about these lenses is because they do not have a constant aperture number. Every time you zoom in and out, the f number would change, and that's pretty useless if you're trying to take photo. The reason is because you want to get your f number locked on and then just change other parameters, and they're really made of cheap materials, plastic and cheap glass. And look at this one, the ring at the front even falls off. The only time that I find a kit lens useful is where I mount it on a camera, turn it to video mode and use a gimbal. Then and only then I find that useful, because I don't really care about the f number. Here's the trick I do. Whenever I get myself a camera, if it comes with a kit lens and it's bundled, I cannot remove it from the seller, I would quickly sell it online, cheaply. And that is where you can buy kit lens very cheaply, if you love kit lens. Number 5, the camera strap. One of the most useless thing there is in photography, because it really makes you look like an amateur. I've been always telling professional photographers or students who learn to be professional photographers is, don't hang your camera like a tourist like this, because what it does is that you can't really work. Well, I understand if you're a natural lighting photographer shooting portraits out and about, like a pre-wedding photographer, then maybe it's useful. But if you are a commercial photographer working with crew that are setting up lights, studio props and all that stuff, it's always good to put your camera down so that your hands are free and help the crew. So that's the reason why I've never used a camera strap for the past 20 over years. In fact, more than that. I've been shooting professionally for 20 over years, and I've always got crew and I've got to help them, so I always set the camera down, and only when I want to shoot, I take them up, I take the shot and I put that back down. That's the reason why. Because looking like this looks like a art student.